Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney if you are new here, and I share all about books in my little corner of the internet. If you are not new here, welcome back. I'm so glad you're joining us again. And today's video, we're going to go through my 26 and 26 book list. With this, there's technically more, at least in my perspective, more than 26 books because I'm including series as one. So that's kind of how I've broken it down. So you might count it and be like, hey, girlfriend, did you not pass kindergarten? Because that's more than 26. Yes, I'm aware, more than 26 books. So that is the breakdown of it. But these are the 26 books that are off of my physical TBR. Kind of separated it out by my top two shelves are the 26 I want to get through in 2026. Then my bottom shelf are ones that would be nice to get to, but are not in that top bracket. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of the YouTube things, and we will go ahead and dive on in to my 26 and 26. So I kind of have it broken down into my mystery thrillers, my more like romance-esque novels, and then I have my fantasy, magical realism category. So obviously there's a lot more on the second shelf in that because that is one genre versus the top, which is the split. So I'm going to kind of break it up genre-wise and then go from there. So we will start with my mystery thriller type list of books. So first we have Frida McFadden's The Tenant. So this one of my friends who absolutely loves The Housemaid, and I do too, she also read this one and I need to read it. It gives Housemaid without being the Housemaid vibes. So The Tenant is definitely on the towards the top of the list of a Frida McFadden that I want to read. The Tenant, I'm super excited to give this one a shot in 2026. Followed by The Barren Fields. This one is a Christian post-apocalyptic novel. That's literally what's described as on the back. So I don't know much about this book. All I know is Jolie on the YouTubes. She read it and highly recommended it on her channel. And so I immediately pretty much was like, this has to be on my TBR. And so it is. And I cannot wait to dive into this. I do want to get into more Christian fiction in 2026 as well. Just because I haven't read that much because it's not as popular. So you don't hear about it as much. But I do want to dive more into the Christian fiction genres. And this, I think, is going to be a fantastic start. Okay, we have another Frida McFadden. We have The Housemaid is Watching. This is the third one in the Housemaid series. So I have read The Housemaid and Made Secret. So I am super excited to dive into this one. I think this is the final book in it, as far as I'm aware. But I also know that the Housemaid movie is coming out next week, and I'm so excited. I bought tickets for me and my friends to go see it. But this is also on the list. Round out the series. Frida, she doesn't hit 100% of the time, but her thrillers are definitely one I'm like, I need something I know I can speed read through and get through that's going to still be twisty and still be a good novel, and I'm not going to be mad about it. And honestly, a lot of times, Frida McFadden's books help me stay out of a slump when I know that's where I'm kind of sliding. I'll pick up a couple of her books, and then I'm usually right back on track with where I want to be. So this just came in my book of the month box. It is Best Offer Wins. So this one, it's supposed to be like a comedic mystery where this girl's like really wanting to buy the house, but she can't for whatever reason. And so she's basically just like sabotaging people to make sure that she can get the house, as far as I know from the synopsis that I can remember. So it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be really good from what I have heard. And it's pretty short, it looks like. So it'll be a fairly quick read. And I cannot wait to dive into the Best Offer Wins. Okay, so the next two. So I read the first book. It is what is it? The Unveiling by Laurie Harrison. And so then we have The Deceiving and The Awakening. So these are the final two. It's a trilogy, and her first book was super easy to get through. I imagine these two are going to be the same, and I cannot wait to figure out what happens. One of those where when you have so many different types of genres in one, it's very easy for things to just get slapstick things together and hope it works. And I've seen it done. It was not done very well. Laurie Harrison does it well, where she sprinkles in like the magical, not necessarily magical, more like supernatural um aspects into a real life mystery thriller. Um she like mixes it all in very, very well. So I'm excited to read these next two books. They're both also very short, only a couple hundred pages, less than 300 pages on both of these. Very quick, very easy to read, and I cannot wait to dive right back into this world. All right, we have another Frida. If you can't tell, I definitely enjoy her novels. This one is called The Intruder, and I got it because of the sprayed edges. They're absolutely gorgeous. I personally haven't seen very many Fridas that have like the sprayed edges hardback. It's usually paperback from what I have found. I am super excited. This one is supposed to be really good where there's someone like kind of like almost breaks into the house during a storm or something, and or like gets welcomed into the house to like escape the storm, and she has secrets and weird things happen is the extent of what I know about it. So it's supposed to be really, really good, and I cannot wait to dive back in. Okay, we have a couple of thrillers by the same author. They're two separate books, but I'll talk about them at the same time. We have The Orphanage by the Lake by Daniel G. Miller, and then we have The Red Letter. And I am super. This one might actually be the first that I go through off of this list. Um, out of these because I've been wanting to read this book for a while and I just haven't had the time to pick it up or been in the mood for a thriller like that. So both of these, super excited. You have a creepy orphanage. You have some like a PI who is hunting the serial killer that is currently hunting her. And this sounds super interesting. So I think this is gonna be one of the first ones I pick up this year. Not gonna lie about that. I think that'll be number one. Okay. We are down to the last two thrillers. So we have The Busybody by Kemper Donovan. And I don't honestly remember much about it. And I also like the cover. It's like the little pin with the woman and the blood dripping out of it. Um, so it's something about like ghostwriters. Honestly, a lot of these, I've either had them on my TBR for so long or I bought them for the vibes. And I don't actually know much about what they are because I also do like going into books blind. I don't want to know too much about a lot of them. So I do kind of go based on vibes. I might skim the back just for like a quick like vibe check. But Busybody is definitely on the list. And then we have Where the Dead Sleep. I believe it's Joshua Moring. Target did what Target does and put a sticker right over the author's name. So I don't know what the last name is. So, small town's dark secrets turn deadly. This one is basically you have a guy that's a deputy sheriff, and then like crazy things start happening, and secrets in the town start coming out, and basically what is buried needs to stay buried, is the sense that I get from this book. This one I'm also super interested in. I love a good thriller. I wouldn't I might actually say that mystery thrillers are one of my favorite genres because whenever I'm in a slump, I can usually pick one up and it gets me out of it. So this probably is one of my favorite genres. Not gonna lie. So yeah, this is the stack. Oh, thrillers. Let's see if I can actually hold it. Ugh. The stack of thrillers. We're getting more of like the romance esque books. Okay, so we've finished mystery thriller. Now we're gonna move into romance, and these ones I'm super excited about. They all should be closed door based on what I saw on the internet. Internet lies to you sometimes, and they've lied to me about what has spice in it and what doesn't. But doing my best, okay? Doing my best to find spice-free books. So we're gonna dive right on in. First, we have Relentless, Boundless, and Steadfast by Amy Caldwell. This is I believe it's a Christian. I know it's a Christian author, and I believe these are Christian romance novels, and it's a series. And I can't wait to dive into it. It's supposed. I don't remember exactly which order it goes in, so I will have to look that one up. But yeah, it is a Christian romance. It might be interconnected standalones, honestly. Again, super excited to get into more Christian fiction, and I cannot wait to dive into these three. I also love like the simple colors and like the comic-y but like done like tasteful covers where it's like got the thick outline and it's very cartoony, which I super enjoy. And it looks like one of these is a like cowboy type romance. A couple of them are beachy, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So I cannot wait to dive into these. So one that came in a book of the month box is the Second Chance Cinema, where I believe it's this couple is going through really hard times and they're on the verge of ending their relationship, but then they go to the cinema and it starts replaying like some of the worst moments of their life, I believe, and how they end up coming together and why some of the things that they've walked through kind of made them who they are. And it basically is offering them a second chance at romance. So I'm super excited to dive into this one and read their story, and hopefully they're able to reconcile their relationship and fix everything. Okay, so this one I'm super excited about. I got a signed copy of it. It just sounded so good when I saw it on Instagram. So cannot wait for that. But it is Rachel Hanna's The Baking Games. So basically it from the way it sounds to me, honestly, it's like Big Brother meets Great British Bake Off. So this girl goes on this show where her and a bunch of other bakers are sequestered in this house and it's a baking competition. Unfortunately, one of the contestants is her male rival from pastry school, and another one is her ex-boyfriend. So it's a closed door, spice free romance where you have an ex, you have an enemy, and I don't know if it's going to be like a love triangle thing where they both end up realizing they're and then she has to choose. I don't know, but it is supposed to be really good. I watch a lot of baking competitions, not gonna lie, so cannot wait to dive into this one. Sounds super interesting. This one I think I'm gonna put at the top of my romance stack. I think this one I think I'm the most excited about out of all of these that I have. So one that is on my radar as well is Lightbreakers. I got this one in Book of the Month last month, and this one I believe it is. There's a couple that they get access basically to a time machine and they go back into their past, and they're basically manipulating things in their past. Is and oops, yeah, supposed to be moving. It plumbs the mysteries of human connection and explores how to love in a world where time is both a healer and a thief. So I'm super excited to dive into the Lightbreakers and see what that story is about. Yeah. Okay. All right. So next we have a behemoth of a shelf of books that I intend to read in 2026. We have D.E. Carlson's To Bind Fire, Empire of Ash and Song series. So this one is supposed to be really good. It's a no spice closed door fantasy. And basically it's like she is a firebinder, I think. There's dragons. There's I don't know. You sold me on dragons and a girl in a pretty dress and fire. Like What more do you want? I don't know. I'm okay. And then we have Spark of the Everflame. This one, it's supposed to be closed door, and I've been wanting to get into it, so I'm going to give it a shot. We will see what happens. I will keep you updated, and then especially if like this one doesn't, and then like later in the series it does, I will definitely let y'all know. I know this is a super popular book on the internet, and I cannot wait to see what all the hype is about, really, and then make educated decisions from there if I continue on or not. And honestly, with Spark of the Everflame, I have no idea what it's about. I have zero idea. Okay, these are two books. I tried to listen to them. They're by the same author. I tried to listen to them. I'm hoping it's I just did not like the narrator, not I did not like the writing styles. So we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson and The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm going to do Mistborn first because it's a lot smaller than Way of Kings, but I do want to give both of these another shot. They're supposed to be fantastic because I want to because a lot of times if I'm listening to a book, I will try to physically read it because a lot of times when I get enough audiobooks, it's because I don't like the narrator, not because I don't like the book. So I always try to give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. And if I'm getting into it, I'm like, I just really don't like the writing style. Then I'm like, okay, no, it's the book. It's not just the narrator side. So got these two on the fantasy stack. The Way of Kings is super intimidating because it's so chunky. But we're going to try. We are going to try. Mistborn is not as chunky. And I honestly can't wait to dive in and see what the hype is about on Brando Sando. Okay, so the next one is the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. So I've already read Shadow and Bone. I will likely reread it before I read these two, just because it's been so long since I've read it. I read it earlier this year. I don't remember really anything that happened, but I do want to get into this verse and then kind of compare it to the TV show on Netflix. That is something I'm trying to do a little bit more this year, is like read books and then watch the show or movie that corresponds, if there is one. So definitely going to reread Shadow and Bone, but then continue on in the universe. So these definitely are on my 26 and 26 list. Another book of the month book. It's the Book of Lost Hours. Something about a magical library. And I love magical libraries. Why this one is on the list. And it's not super thick. And I'm excited about it. So, and then by Aaron Phillips, we have A Bond of Briars. And this one, I believe it's supposed to be an Esther retelling. This one, it's, I don't know, pretty cover. I've seen a lot of it on Bookstagram. I actually follow the author, and I don't know. The way that this book has been described, it sounds super interesting, and I'm pretty sure it's an Esther retelling. And again, trying to get into more Christian fiction. So, Bond of Briars definitely made it on the list. So, then speaking of the fact that I thoroughly enjoy magical libraries, we have The Book That Wouldn't Burn. It's another, I believe it's a magical library that there's something in it. I don't remember. Book Choke Chamber, Older Than Empires, Tiny Settlement Out on the Dust. It's definitely fantasy. So there's stories, but I think it's multi-time and location POV, which is super interesting, and I believe it is because there's a magical library. So cannot wait to get into The Book That Wouldn't Burn. Okay. We also have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I will read this after I read the Shadow and Bone series, just because I've been told that's the order you want to read it in. Yeah, it's because this is part of the Grishaverse. So, cannot wait to dive into Six of Crows. Apparently reads more adult than Shadow and Bone does, versus young adult. So, cannot wait to dive into this one. I did try to read a little bit of it when I was I think I was in high school, maybe a little bit in college, but I couldn't get into it, and it's probably because I Um, didn't read the other ones first, and I also had a hard time finishing books at all in college. So yeah, this one is definitely on the list. In the Grishaverse. So this is a book I got at Goodwill. It's by John Connolly. It's called The Infernals. I believe it used to be a library book based on the outskirts of it. Yeah, it's some. I think it's about a kid running through hell. I don't know. I thought the cover looked cool. It kind of gives me like claymation vibes. Don't judge a book by its cover. I 100% did. I did. I definitely did. Okay, and then finally, the last book, we have Never the Roses by Jennifer K. Lambert. It's supposed to be a romantasy that is supposed to be a closed door romantasy from what I have seen. If any of these books that are mentioned in here are not actually closed door, and I think they are, please, and you've read them, please let me know in the comments below. So it's, I don't know, I bought Pretty Edges, okay? Pretty Edges, I'm a sucker for them. If you know me, you know that. It's got pretty end papers that look like wrinkled paper. It's got roses all over the place. And it looks like it might be a dark romantasy. But yeah, it sounds super interesting. A girl stole a book and initiates a forbidden correspondence with taunting notes. A bond that could light a long extinct flame of life within her, or it could destroy her entirely. Yeah. Love, but Sarah Beth Durst, who I believe she's the one that wrote The Spell Shop and The Enchanted Greenhouse. She says, love, magic, heartbreak, and healing. I absolutely loved it. The top little bit says, unstoppable war, unspeakable sins, impossible love. So, editing Sydney here. I just realized that I removed a book that I realized I don't want to keep and read next year. So I was really 25. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm gonna go pop in and talk about what book do I want to read next year. The Seven Rings by Nora Roberts. That is the third book in the Lost Bride trilogy, and I've been super into it, and I want to read that one in 2026. So thanks. Current plan, if I'm going to tackle all 26 of these books, is I'm going to grab the top one of each stack and just kind of go in order. Some of it might be based on moods. Like I might feel Mistborn one more than the Baking Games, and then go to the Never the Rose and then the Red Letter. I'm going to go kind of based on vibes for that. And then once I finish that book and it ends up on my bookshelf, I'll go through whatever stack that it's in and decide from there which one I would want to read the most out of that stack and put that one on top. Encompassing list of the books I intend to read in 2026. But these are the books I physically own. And that would basically get me through all but like 5-6 books on my physical TBR if I can get through all 26 of these. So that is the goal. That is the plan. I cannot wait to dive into all of these fantastic stories and these worlds with you. Because I know some of us probably have some of the same books on our lists, or we have maybe some different books, and you got some ideas of books you want to read. Drop your list below. What are your most anticipated reads of 2026 that are either on this list or not that you cannot wait to dive into in the new year? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Can't wait to hear what you're planning to read, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.